One of my favorite things when it comes to pop culture or media in general is a good crossover. There's something so satisfying about seeing characters, usually through the work of fan artists, interacting with other worlds they were never meant to. I've been on a really big Pokemon kick lately thanks to just how painfully addicting Pokerogue has been, and I've found myself wondering what kind of teams Yusuke and crew would run if they were in place of an Elite Four squad somewhere in the Pokemon universe. So, with the help of a handful of people from my Patreon, we sat down and chatted about what Pokemon would fit each character. It was both fun and surprisingly difficult at times to rationalize why certain Pokemon appear, but even though some may not make the most sense, we tried our best to keep things thematic but not predictable. For many of these, I decided to look into their Pokédex entries for additional insight into how they might tie to our heroes. Before we dive in though, I want to give a huge shout out to the lovely people of the Symphonic Anime Orchestra concert. Music is a massive part of my life, about as important as anime itself, and the effect wonderfully composed music can have on a piece of art has never been lost on me. I'm also a big fan of music from pop culture being played in orchestral form. I've seen video games live and the Zelda Symphony, so it was only a matter of time before I'd want to see anime OSTs played in similar fashion. Enter Symphonic Anime, a concert series that showcases iconic orchestral arrangements from popular anime such as Attack on Titan, Death Note, One Punch Man, My Hero Academia, and more. Their setlist covers a wide range of anime music and touches on several genres, so there's something for everyone. Even cooler, several composers known for their work will be in attendance, including Yasuharu Takanashi, Yuki Hayashi, and Makoto Miyazaki. If that sounds even remotely interesting to you, head on over to the Symphonic Anime website to snag a ticket to one of their 3 North American shows, which you can see on screen here. I'll very likely be in attendance at the Boston show, so maybe we'll run into each other. Thank you again Symphonic Anime for reaching out, and I hope to see some of you there. Now let's get to the Pokemon. So let's start with the first member of this Elite Four squad, Kuwabara. I wanted to structure this with ascending difficulty, so I based the order not just on the character's raw power in-universe, but their overall skill and proficiency as well. Another thing to note is that while I did choose abilities and movesets, I'm not going to go in depth about each choice, nor are these teams meant to be competitive in any viable format. The reason I even bothered giving these teams movesets will become apparent in the back half of the video. While I'm sure there are plenty of obvious choices for each member of Team Urameshi, I wanted to make sure that I had a nice mixture of old and new Pokemon, which is why I enlisted the help of patrons. I'm more knowledgeable of the Pokédex up to Gen 3, but after that I'm familiar with the more popular or powerful Pokemon, but that knowledge does plummet further and further as the generations go by. With that being said, if you don't see an obvious pick or any of your favorite Pokemon in this video, I either forgot it existed, didn't know it existed, or I just thought there was a better fit for the team. Everyone cool? Okay, let's get this show on the road. For Kuwabara, we took 2 things into consideration when forming his team, his personal endurance and his love of cool/manly things. To embody his ability to take a savage beating and keep getting up, we decided his primary typing should be Steel. Kuwabara's lead is Aegislash, since we thought it fitting that it can shift forms and Kuwabara often switches between being a brawler and a protector. Bastiodon serves the team with its respectable bulk, affording Kuwabara more time to plan things out while in the thick of it, or run down the clock until help comes along. Incineroar falls under that idea of Kuwabara's love of cool/manly things. With it being an obvious play on pro wrestling as well as being a cat, I'm sure Kuwabara would love if Iikichi turned into this thing. On top of that, Incineroar, while being known for enjoying violent brawls and taking on stronger opponents, also has a kind side that will step in to protect those less capable than itself, so this thing has Kuwabara written all over it. Melmetal brings genuine physical bulk to Kuwabara's team defensively while still demanding the respect of those who would step into the ring with it, much in the same way as Kuwabara himself. It looks kinda goofy, but it will get some solid shots in before it goes down. So Iron Valiant was a tricky one, and it ended up being kind of a compromise between me and the patrons, because I liked Gardevoir for Kuwabara's team, but admittedly Gallade did fit better. So the patrons and I settled on this iteration and called it a day. That brings us to Kuwabara's ace, Kingambit. He would definitely find this thing to be insanely cool, and you can just tell he'd be bending over backwards to show it off to the others. Tying it more closely to Kuwabara, Kingambit isn't skilled at devising complex strategies and typically relies on brute strength to force its way through its problems. Our second member of the Elite Four is Genkai. With Genkai, we tried to give her a mixture of ghost types since, she has been dead, that primarily focus on special attack, but since she's also a master of martial arts, we threw in a couple of appropriate Pokemon to fit that too. Genkai is going to lead with Mienshao, one of the 2 fighting Pokemon we gave her. I think it's important to give her almost pupil-like Pokemon since I'm sure they train with her. Considering Mienshao is known for combos that once started can't be stopped, it feels like the type of Pokemon Genkai would take a liking to. The next on her roster is Spiritomb. Being an amalgamation of mischievous spirits bound to a keystone and Genkai being feared but respected by apparitions, this one seemed pretty much on brand for her to just have sitting on a shelf somewhere. Lucario is the second of Genkai's pupil-type Pokemon, and given Lucario can utilize Aura in the same way Genkai can Spirit Energy, it makes sense for one of these to end up in her care and training underneath her. Next up is Fluttermane, whose reputation in competitive Pokemon is the main reason I thought it would be fun to slap on Genkai's team, so yeah, I just really wanted this one to be here. Gengar, like Fluttermane and Spiritomb, are representative of Genkai's history with demons and apparitions, and has more of a focus on being quick and powerful with special attacks, or in Genkai's case, spirit attacks. Then we finally round out Genkai's team with Spectrier. Also fast and powerful with special attacks, Spectrier mirrors Genkai's enjoyment of silence and solitude the way she's often found in her mountain compound. Our third member of the Elite Four is Kurama. Surprisingly, Kurama was the toughest member to build a team for, since there isn't a huge selection of genuinely cool or powerful grass-type Pokemon. Like I said earlier, I'm not well versed in the later generations of Pokemon, so I could be mistaken in this point. We did end up mostly sticking to grass as a foundation, but there are a couple of Pokemon that go against type. Kurama leads with Hisuian Zoroark, which I'm sure is a strange choice for many of you, but the idea here lies with what this Pokemon is known for, its ability to disguise itself as something else, which is how Kurama lived his life for years. It's not a perfect analogy, but I think Kurama would take a liking to this Pokemon for that reason, not to mention the colors being evocative of Yoko, who he was before ending up as the boy we know. Naturally, Kurama has to have a Roserade. It's so on brand for him that it would honestly be insulting to deny him this Pokemon. The two could pose with roses together for the gram and people would eat it up. Further connecting the two is their ability to lure in their prey before striking with their deadly thorned whips that they both keep hidden away. Ferrothorn is here to symbolize Kurama's resilience, as well as his thorny nature when his enemies prod at the things or people he cares about. It belies a deeper danger that's suitable for how sharp-tongued and spiteful Kurama can be when pushed. Next up is Delphox, probably the best Fox-type Pokemon we could have given him with actual utility, just barely edging out our choice of Leafeon. Of course, having a Fox on the team fills the same thematic through line as Zoroark too, tying him to his demon form, but with this version being more powerful than his past version. Rillaboom is here to represent the overall power Kurama keeps under wraps. This Pokemon, like Kurama, has a calm disposition but doesn't tolerate those who would stir up trouble. It's a beast of a Pokemon that can make life miserable if you don't watch your goddamn mouth. That just leaves his ace, Virizion. Representative of Kurama's sense of justice and desire to protect his friends, it seems only fitting for him to round out his team with a Pokemon like this. There's probably a better choice somewhere in the Pokédex, but I just really like the imagery of Kurama standing next to this thing. Our final member of the E4 proper is Hiei. Hiei's team is probably the easiest to put together given the surplus of cool/edgy Pokemon that exist. For him, we tried to stick to dark types, dragon types, and fire types, and if the Pokemon was fast, that's a bonus given Hiei's speed. Honestly, for most of his team, we were just kinda like, yep, that suits him, and moved on. You'll see what I mean. Hiei leads with Houndoom because it's edgy, can utilize fire, and Hiei got that dog in him. Homeboy has never backed down from a challenge, and he's not just all bark. Houndoom coming out first is kind of a solid but funny way to express that. Next on the team is the Hisuian variant of Typhlosion. Its typing pairs well with Hiei being a fire spirit, and the colors match the overall vibe coming off of Hiei too. I mean, aside from that, we just really wanted Typhlosion on this team, so. Garchomp is basically a fun combination of what Hiei enjoys most, dragons and swords. It also doesn't hurt that Garchomp is a legitimately threatening Pokemon both on paper and, I assume, if it caught you in a dark alleyway. Next comes my personal favorite Pokemon edgelord, Ceruledge. What can I say other than it's a ghostly fire guy with flame swords for hands? It's so absurdly perfectly suited to be a representative of Hiei's Sword of the Darkness Flame. I can totally see Hiei training this Pokemon in the art of combat himself and not just leaving it up to trainer battles. Hydreigon stands as the physical embodiment of Hiei's Darkness Flame technique, and just like Ceruledge, it would be one hell of a fumble to not put this on his team. Between its typing and solid intimidation factor, it just feels like the type of Pokemon Hiei would seek out specifically. Rounding out the team is Darkrai, which I like to imagine is the sheer fear factor involved when an opponent sees the Darkness Flame coming their way. Think Zero or even Bui after Hiei mastered the dragon. If Hiei sends out Darkrai to battle, he probably wants to genuinely kill you and your Pokemon. Last but certainly not least is our boy Yusuke, taking on the role of champion in this hypothetical gauntlet. Like Hiei, we put a bit more thought into Yusuke's team, and while it ended up being decently well rounded, it's also kind of a mess of memes and goofiness. Unlike the others, the order of Yusuke's team also tells a bit of a story. Leading the pack is Toxtricity, the punk rock Pokemon that suitably embodies Yusuke's short-tempered and aggressive nature. It's a Pokemon delightfully similar to Yusuke's personality at the beginning of the story, and I know in my bones he would form a quick friendship with this thing. Next up is Revavroom, you know, taking on the responsibility of being the car that killed Yusuke in the first place. Zoran suggested this as a joke, but it was so damn funny to me that I couldn't help but say, yep, that has to be on the team now. Following that comes Annihilape, a Pokemon that got even more powerful after its implied death, which can certainly be said about Yusuke. It also fights angry majority of the time, which does line up with Yusuke's rough attitude. Next comes Decidueye, representative of Yusuke's return to life, even kinda rocking the same green our Spirit Detective is known for. It being part ghost is what really cements it as a post-death illusion of its trainer. Corviknight comes in next as a very clear stand-in for the Blue Wonder, Pooh. It coming to Yusuke's aid at the tail end of Chapter Black mixed with Corviknight's reliable defensive bulk cemented its place at the champion's table. Pretty lucky to have such a useful blue bird Pokemon just lying around. Rounding out Yusuke's team is the monstrous Urshifu. It's representative of Yusuke at the end of the series, where he's at his strongest and known for dominating enemies, even damn near winning against one of Demon World's 3 kings. Urshifu being an effective brawler known for turning the tides in competitive matches was a shoo-in for the ace of Yusuke's team. Now, I mentioned earlier that there was a reason I gave each Pokemon an ability and moveset. That's because I had the bright idea to take this E4 team and have a few folks run the gauntlet against them. I wanted to see if they could do it in one run, or even at all. With that being said, there is a difficulty drop-off considering we're doing this on Showdown where HP doesn't carry between battles, and neither does the usage of power points. But it was the easiest way to allow anyone to participate who wanted to, and I'm not a programmer, so setting this up any other way would just take too much time. So while this isn't a perfect representation of how it would feel to run this gauntlet, I hope you find it entertaining either way. And hey, maybe you can put these teams to the test yourself and run through a game like Pokerogue with them. This has been fun, and now I'm going to pass you over to a supercut of the matchups and the overall results. A huge shout out to the wonderful people who continue to support the channel via Patreon, and the standard credit scroll will still run after the battles, don't worry. Several patrons got to participate in this experiment on top of seeing things early like usual. I ask patrons for opinions or ideas all the time in a private Discord channel in the server, so if you'd like to have your voice heard, see things early, or snag a portrait or spot in the credit scroll, please consider heading over to the Patreon page linked below. Also, another quick shout out to Symphonic Anime for reaching out. Make sure you get your tickets if they're in a city near you. Links are also below. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz that helps small channels like mine because it's greatly appreciated. Most importantly, remember to take care of yourselves and others. I'll see you again soon, and enjoy the battles. Oh shit, the burn.
That is what I wanted. I wanted that bone.
Yeah. Oh shit,
how did you survive? Oh, I must have got a low roll hit.
Wow, that was the first... Wow, really?
Because it didn't let me have yawn. I'm like, this is a random attack I can stick in, right?
Oh, great.
Oh no, my attack is lowered. Whatever will I do?
Oh, the sturdy save.
Oh,
yeah, that did nothing. Oops. So I was like, I don't want to be red, so I'll just be in. Wow. Okay. You're scary. No, you're scary. What's crazy is, like, I'm actually rooting for her to beat me. Thanks, Facebook Messenger. Bro, you survived that?
Oh, you hung on! Good job, Clodsire! Derpy little doo-doo fish that I love.
It has leftovers, so if you don't manage to kill it immediately...
I mean, it had leftovers.
It did have leftovers.
Okay, bye! Well, shit.
I don't even know what just happened.
Did I even hit you?
I don't know.
Well, doesn't matter.
Hear the gears
Oh, I
turning.
hate this.
Oh, okay, we don't have... Oh my... Bro!
Oh man, that was so close.
Are you shitting me? I'm gonna go for the fucking Protect, dude. This fucking Umbreon. She's gonna swap. Oh, she went for a second Protect?
Oh, the double protect.
No fucking
That
way
is
she
just
got the double
mean.
Protect. No way she got the double Protect. Are you shitting me right now? Bro, why is this thing so
Ooh.
strong?
Don't worry, it killed itself.
It's gonna be one of those battles.
Yeah, I'd be doing our boy a disservice if he didn't have Roserade.
Oh, I see what you're That's a very Kurama plan.
Kurama's all about the long game.
That is why I picked it.
Guys, typing really helps it too.
Aw, come on.
Oh, fuck you! Okay, that happened. I cannot believe you got the double protect there.
I know, I love that so much. It was so hilarious.
I cannot believe that. You know, we're gonna set up the stealth rock.
I didn't do much. Don't even gotta attack.
Damn. Someone's pissed off.
You again. Oh! No fucking way you survived that. Incredible.
Wow.
Yeah, there's still this asshole though. That did way less than I thought it would.
It did way more than I wanted it to.
You know what? That's fair, and I'll take that. Let's go Spear Shackle. Never mind, we ain't doing shit.
You already know what it is. It's time for the bastard.
Not this son of a bitch. Just oh fuck! Throat chops. I can't use boom burst now. Oh shit,
I didn't expect that to actually be useful.
dude. Incredible play. That's probably the best accidental play I've ever seen in my life.
That really was an accident. I was like, I need a fourth attack. That looks good.
Okay, but it's because of Iron Defense. Oh, here comes the stalling.
Most fun tactics to deal with. Oh yeah, this is death. Death approaches. Oh, surprisingly not. Yes, okay. I forgot how this attack worked.
Okay. Didn't even see what happened there, but okay.
Yeah. Yep.
That's bad.
That fucking Raichu. I hate this thing. I hate this thing so much.
This little fucking rat bastard.
Yep. Damn, dude.
Oh, Raichu.
Raichu continuing to be a pain in my ass. Oh my god, get this thing out of my face.